Welcome to the Thornton Review, the show designed with you in mind. If it's important to you, it's important to us. Joshua Roberson was born in Rome, Georgia in 1981. He lives in Barano Park or Molino, Florida, with his wife and the youngest of their 3 children. Josh spent 22 and a half years in the United States Navy, where he served as an aviation and structural mechanic. He spent 13 and a half years at sea on board multiple aircraft carriers. His shore-based assignments include a Fleet Readiness Center, VFA 106 Fighter Attack Squadron, the Gladiators, NATTC Pensacola, and NETSAFA International Training Command here in Pensacola, where he served as the Senior Enlisted Leader. Josh retired from active service at NAS on July 1st, 2024. He now supports his local community. He started a podcast and he started a recognition award for local volunteers who go over and beyond to keep others going. He's active in local politics and assists community members with issues. As a community, political, and human activist, he works with anyone who contacts with him, even if the answer is not what was wanted. Josh is proud to call Escambia County and District 5 not only his community, but his home. Hi, I'm Pueschel Schneier, Executive Producer and Manager of the Thornton Review. Thank you for tuning in. On today's show, we have Joshua Roberson. He is a community activist here in Escambia County. He does a lot to help his constituents in his district and all across the county, really, basically. So, Josh, please introduce yourself.
Hey, how you doing, Michelle? Thanks for having me here. I tell you, it's such a great day, and I don't think it's getting better, because if it got better, it'd be perfect. So it can't get there.
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you about it. Yeah, I live up in Barano Park. My name, like you said, my name's Joshua Roberson. I go by Josh, so that is perfectly fine to say that. I'm retired, and that's how I'm able to help people and just go around, and I get to pick and choose what I do on a daily basis. I'm married to my lovely wife, and we have 3 children. We live, like I said, up in Barano Park, the Molino area. So I'm so happy that you had me here today, so thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on the show again. You came on last year.
Yeah, show 53, I think you told me.
Exactly, yeah.
And now what show number is this?
88.
88.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, 3 years consistent. Yeah, we've stayed very consistent with the show every other week.
That's great.
And I keep track of the numbers.
That's great. It's every other week, so that's awesome. And I hope you just keep going and going, and you make a difference out there.
I do too, because I love doing the show.
Yeah. And it's great. I watch it, and the people that come on, so it's great to be a part of this, and I'm glad that you called and asked me to end the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming back on. I really appreciate it. And
Yes,
I'm looking forward to this conversation we're about to have. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll begin our discussion with Josh Roberson. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. Thank you for tuning in. So we're going to begin our discussion with Josh Roberson. So how have you been? So we already discussed you were number 53. Now you're number 88. So what has happened in that year? It's been about a year and a couple months. I think you were in September of 2024. And now we're in December. We're almost into the new year of 2026. So
How's it been?
it's been really good.
So, like, you're asking me too, and I'm glad it's been good for you, but you're asking me as well. And, it's been good. That's just like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down.
So when you came on the show last time, you came on because you were a candidate
That's right.
for District 5 County Commission.
That's correct.
You didn't win that election, but okay, so you're retired and you have kind of made your full-time job a community activist. So you kept your promise, and I believe one of your campaign promises was that if you didn't win the election, you would still continue. I mean, that wasn't a campaign promise, but you told me if you don't win the election, you're still going to continue the work as if you did.
That's right. So let's go back, and I would like to say this because you brought it up. During the campaign, I made one promise, and that one promise is I didn't spend 22 and a half years building up the Navy core values, honor, courage, and commitment behind my name to break those for $1 or for one vote. So I wasn't going. That was the only promise I made, because as the deeper I looked and the deeper we got into it, you're one of 5, and you have to have a majority of 3 votes to accomplish anything for the county. So how can one make any promises? I don't think that's very valid. So to go on a campaign, short 4-month campaign is what I had, and make promises, I think that's I don't want to say that's not true. That's misleading. And so that's the approach I took.
Right.
But it was, like I said, it was a very short campaign. I retired July 1st, was my very first day of retirement last year.
Right.
And then same thing, July 1st last year was my very first day of campaigning. And I've been told you shot out and you're a political no one. And that's true. No one knew. I caught everybody off guard.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because you're not like well known in the
wasn't.
community, right?
I wasn't.
I mean, yeah, you weren't. You might be now. Like you're a lot more well known now than you were. But when you were running, it's really hard to win an election in Escambia County unless everybody already knows your name, especially if you're not running with an R or a D in front of your name. And you,
Behind it.
yeah. So, and that was the very first conversation that I had with you. The very first conversation, I remember it clearly. I remember where I was and what we spoke about. I was thinking, if he's got NPA behind his name, there's no way he's going to win. It doesn't matter what he's running on. It almost doesn't matter how well known you are in this community. But you stood your ground. You said you're going to be honest. You're not going to choose sides. You're going to work for the better of the community.
The people. I took, and yes. And I took the same approach I take, and my mind works this way. So I took the same approach I took in the military. I didn't join the military to serve certain people. The ones that agreed with how the military operates.
Right.
I didn't take that oath to defend the United States against those that, that want to harm the United States and their citizens for a certain group of people. So why would you want to serve, in my opinion, the county and its citizens, all 334,000 of them at this point, rough estimate of worldpopulation.com. In my opinion, again, with an R or a D or some political behind you, because everyone that pays taxes is not one or the other. And I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe everyone agrees on 80 to 85% of the issues out there. It's the 15 to 20% that is so polarized and then so divided that's the machine that just keeps grinding everybody apart.
Right. Yeah.
So you campaign so hard on one side or the other. What does the others, I say others, that you don't represent, how do they feel that they can come to that representative and get a fair shake on?
Right. Well, it also depends on the issues. I mean, everybody needs roads to drive on.
Hmm.
There isn't like a certain group of people that doesn't need, I mean, maybe the people who don't drive, but
Sure.
what percentage is that?
That's right.
Everybody drives. Everybody needs roads, paved roads to drive on.
That's right.
Everybody needs, electricity and water and housing. So
Maybe.
it's not really a partisan
That's right. That's
thing.
part of the 80 to 85% I was just speaking of.
Like ECUA. I don't know why that's partisan. I have no idea.
I don't either. I don't know. I didn't know trash mattered. If you were a
Water, yeah.
Republican, Democrat, or an
Everybody needs
independent.
clean water.
That's
Now,
right.
school board, I can understand.
Okay.
But that's school board is a nonpartisan
That's
race.
correct.
It should be that's the one that should be partisan.
That's, but it's nonpartisan. You don't have to declare it. I went to sit in on a, I guess it was the Republican Party, just to listen to the candidates speak. But they allowed the school board members to give their speech as well, and it was the Republican forum type deal, and they got to introduce themselves and speak. And then, but it's nonpartisan race. Oh, we just know that they're Republican. Well, that's okay. I understand. But then they allowed me to give my introduction, but I wasn't allowed to give anything in the room. So I do definitely appreciate that. But back to the running, I gave it everything I had, and I enjoyed it. And the connections I
I
was
know you
able to
did.
make with the
Yeah.
people in the area in District 5 and outside of District 5, I cherish those connections. And I wholeheartedly, the 13,500 votes I did get in 4 months doesn't, it's not just,
13,000.
it's like 13,000, 13,500. It was just under 40%. It was 38 point something percent.
That's really high.
It's not lost on me. I don't forget that. So when the phone rings or my email clicks or Facebook chimes, I answer it. That's what I've been doing for a year and a half.
Right.
I answer it.
And you reach out to people.
That's right.
You check on them. You make sure they're doing okay. You called me.
Just to see how you're doing.
Yeah, I know.
I look at some of your
great.
posts, and you traveled to DC and your son. So I just wanted to see how you're doing.
I appreciated that. I was like, this guy actually really does care. He's just calling me out of the blue and asking me how I'm doing. And you didn't ask for anything. You didn't like really give me a lot of information on, any topic that you were particularly calling me for. And we just had a nice little conversation, and I appreciated the call.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. So what kind of work? You've been doing a lot of work. You retired on July 1st, 2024, and you jumped into the campaign and you jumped into community issues. What type of work have you been doing?
So I know that it happens. I know, and when I say it, I mean fibbing or lying or things like that. So I strive and work very hard not to do that. So I am going to say that I did take some time off after the campaign last year,
Right.
roughly about a month or so. I just honestly decompressed from the retirement because, like I said, I jumped right into campaigning.
Yeah.
So I kind of just took some time off.
Yeah, I can
decompressed.
imagine you would need some time off to recuperate after campaigning.
Yeah.
Because that's stressful. That
Right-
takes a
right
lot out of you.
A career of the Navy and then right into
Huge.
campaigning. And I took some time off and spent it with my family, and then I jumped right back into whatever I could do to make sure ensure people that I'm still around. I'm still there. And that's what drives me, and it's what fuels me every day. And that's not me lying to you. That's honestly, if you could talk to my wife, I'm under new management. So the CEO says, "Hey, you need to find something to do." Because she's still getting used to me being home every day too.
Right.
Yeah, I just involved in the community from, and I'm about to list it. So Cantonment to Cottage Hill to Molino to Barano Park, and you just keep going north, Walnut Hill to Davisville,
Right.
Bay Springs. You got Bratt. And I'm not just naming communities, but this is where I've been. You've asking McDavid, Century. That's all the places I've been. And I was thinking on the drive over here, there's drainage issues, road issues. We got down towards Scenic Hills. There's a wonderful lady there that supports ice skating, and she spends her time and her volunteer services supporting the ice skating for youth and kids and adult ice skating
at the Bay Center.
hmm
Mhm.
So yeah, I didn't ask her if I could use her name, so I'm not going to. But very huge proponent of ice skating. And I remember back during the campaign, she was trying to support the ice rink. Well,
Oh,
look next
is that
door.
in Pace?
Well, look. Well, so let's fast forward a
Is
year
that
and
what
a
we're
half.
talking about?
No.
Because
But during the campaign, she was pushing for one here,
okay.
and very very outside the box thinking for this area because it wasn't what's considered the old guard thinking of adult playground with baseball and softball
Uh-huh.
courts, right?
Right.
But now look at Pace. Here it comes.
Mhm.
That's going to be the nearest ice rink now for 250. I think was the mileage. Where's all that money going to go?
Mhm.
To Santa Rosa County.
Mhm.
So she's very very outspoken and loves ice, and I get it. If you see me on ice skates, I look like a baby giraffe. But
You will not see me on ice.
yeah, but they put on nice programs, the winter programs, the spring programs. Me and my wife love to go watch
Yeah.
it. But
My
anyway,
mom
yeah,
probably would. She's 78 years old, but she used to ice skate. Like
sure,
she grew up in Wisconsin,
hmm
so she was skating on lakes.
sure. When
Uh
they froze over.
yeah. So I mean, so she knows how to ice
hmm
skate. It's probably something that once you learn as a child, and you grow up doing it, that if you don't do it for a few years, it probably just comes like riding a bicycle. You never forget how to do it.
Yeah, I
I
can't
never
bunny hop or do any tricks anymore, but I'm
uh,
sure I can get right on a bike and ride.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, road and drainage issues, and then on up to supporting historical societies, and then supporting the libraries, and then on up to the Ruatan Club up in Walnut Hill, and over to opening new businesses out in Davisville, and then
Mhm.
Century, trying to get their town and community together again and working for a whole, and um, just that area. That's just how it all transpires throughout. And I know you asked exactly what I did, but I we got an hour to talk about it, and
Mhm.
that's where we're going.
Okay. So have you've been kind of getting in touch with people and helping them with their issues and
Mhm.
their causes. So you named the ice skating rink. What are some other issues that you've been involved in?
So there was a big push. There's some ladies out in Cottage Hill that
Mhm.
very they're very concerned about water drainage and traffic in their area.
Mhm. So
Um,
am I.
correct. And but
The traffic is unbelievable. Well, there's just a population explosion. There's just like thousands upon that, like tens of thousands of new houses, new construction
Mhm,
in Cantonment and Beulah. And the I grew up out there, and the
mhm,
traffic is just unbelievable. Down to 97A and 97 up to Muskogee Road,
mhm.
there used to be no traffic, and now it's just backed up. And it used to take maybe 20 minutes to get downtown. Now it takes like almost an hour, depending on
Right.
the time of day. So we're clear cutting. Well, I'm not clear cutting. The government is allowing, our local government is allowing uh, construction companies to come in and just clear cut the land
Mhm.
and pave over it. It doesn't matter how much drainage you have. You can put, it doesn't matter how much drainage you have. If we don't have pervious land for water saturation, we're going to flood.
That's right.
So, my house, the house we're in, actually, uh, never flooded until the parking lot over there was paved and the parking lot 2 blocks up the street was paved. And there's a preschool that was built kind of near here.
Okay.
120-year-old house, never flooded.
hmm
All of a sudden, we've got more parking lots going on just around us, and then we get a couple inches of water in the house, and then 2 feet of water in the house, and it never flooded before that. But I know it's because of clear cutting and paving.
Okay.
So,
Well,
ha-
and the more you look into that with paving, and that's not the only issue because if you clear cut, you're taking natural and deep rooted
mhm.
vegetation
Ecosystem.
out.
Well, and
That's
ecosystems
right.
for wild animals. Like where are the raccoons and coyotes going to go? They're
My
going
yard.
to my yeah. Well, they're going to my parents' house and eating the cats.
Right.
Like
Right. No,
literally,
yeah. And
literally.
my chickens.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I'm leaning towards the older trees and the deep roots and the vegetation,
Uh-huh.
the natural. Because what happens is you come in and you put these pretty ornamental trees or shrubs
Ugh,
in, and they don't really
no, they're
suck up
giant
anything, right?
weeds.
Yeah, that's right. So
Crepe myrtle is a giant weed.
yeah,
We need to get rid of crepe myrtle and plant pine
I
trees.
did at my house.
Pine trees.
But back to
Pensacola, over. I
no, no,
feel
you're
like I'm
good.
talking every yarn
No,
on the
no, no, no,
start.
no, no. You're good.
All of Florida
Hmm.
used to be a heart pine forest. I mean, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Sure.
You have to cut some of them down, but they literally cut every single one of them down. We have no more heart pine trees. They're gone. They're extinct. But we do have we have other pine trees, and they're smaller and they're newer. But crepe myrtle is not doing anything for the environment. It might look cute. I mean, a couple of crepe myrtles here and there might be fine, but every time the city plants a tree, it's a crepe myrtle. They're all over the place. I don't understand. They don't
Sure.
do anything. We need trees that are indigenous to Florida.
Mhm.
I think dogwoods maybe. Those are pretty, and those probably do something. But pine trees are the actual Florida tree.
I did. You taught me something today. I didn't know there's a heart pine was
Yeah,
all over Florida. So you taught me something. That's good. I like to learn.
yeah,
So if you can, we can go back to the paving.
sure.
So the when you pave over everything, still to this day, we're paying $500,000 in for Navy Federal to be here
Mhm.
in taxpayer dollars, and and that's fine. But when it came up for renegotiation, I'm not downing Navy Federal. They brought a lot of jobs here. They
Sure.
brought everything, right? Booming economy, that kind of deal. But the building's already built.
Mhm.
Why are taxpayers still paying them? So
Who designed the art of that deal?
sure.
Somebody should have taken a class from Trump whenever they did that deal.
But once they built it and they're here, they're not just going to abandon the building. The taxpayers still paying for it. So I guess where I was going with that is maybe some tax incentives for what you're saying, because you can't mandate what happens on private property, but maybe for the church or the preschool. Hey, if you spend a little extra on this the water absorbent asphalt,
Uh-huh.
and they use it a lot out in Arizona. So when they do get rain, it can go through and get to the ground.
Right.
Maybe these private companies would use it. Now, that road surface is not good for highways. It doesn't hold up to the higher speeds, but we're talking 30 and below. So parking lots, which cover a lot, by the way, around here,
Yeah.
and maybe even the neighborhoods that are 15 and below. But maybe that incentive would work better. But I mean, overall, we're giving 50,000 for the entire county to traffic abatement. Not abatement, but I can't remember the word. But anyway,
To
it's
slow
for
down
speed bumps
traffic.
and
Yeah.
speed bumps and rumble strips
Well,
and
when you
things
said
like that.
abatement, that's what came to mind.
Sure,
And
maybe it is abatement, but
the
for the year.
places that go out in
Mhm.
the street that you kind of have to go around,
Right.
or you have to slow down so you don't
Yeah,
kind
and
of
you
veer
have
off
to
and hit
and
it.
you have to jump through hoops to get speed bumps and all this stuff. But if your road or your area, maybe even a sidewalk, you start looking into putting this money into these surfaces that will allow the water to go through. I don't see the issue with that. Maybe
Mhm.
give that tax break to that company that does spend the money on that, and then
Right.
now we can talk about it.
Mhm.
Because and I'm going to be honest with you, and maybe this, I don't know if it rubs people the wrong way, but I will tell you that my house sits on 198 feet above sea level. So all the water from my non-paved surfaces flows downhill naturally. So it goes to the creeks, goes to the river, and then it comes where? To you.
Mhm.
If you live here in Pensacola, it comes to you because it's coming to the ocean
Right.
or coming to the
Everything
bay.
north of Pensacola is.
That's right. And the more we build up there, the more we cover the ground, the more we
Yep.
do that, the more it comes here.
Yep.
But you said something interesting. You said when you traveling up 297A or that area, and heaven forbid don't get sick when you live up where I live at 3:30 to 6 o'clock because traffic's deadlocked.
Right.
And if there's not an
If you have to get to the hospital quick, you're not going to.
if there's not already an ambulance up north, you can
Right.
wait an hour because that traffic is just bumper to bumper all the way from 10 Mile Road north. I mean, it's no prior planning.
Right.
Anyway.
And for doctor's appointments and
Yeah.
stuff, because I've been staying up there with my parents. My dad has to go to the doctor twice a week now
Mhm.
because he's got something going on. We have to leave an hour early.
Mhm.
I mean, most of the time we get to the appointment really super early, but still we have to consider that the traffic might be really bad. And if we take the interstate, you have to consider there could be an accident
Right.
because I've seen traffic backed up from the Highway 29 exit to the Pine Forest exit,
Mhm.
deadlocked, stopped. And traffic was even on the on-ramp. So instead of me getting on the interstate, I went straight up Pine Forest Road to Mobile Highway to get downtown.
That's what, a 4 or 5 year project
I,
for 10.
I don't know, but
That's a
they
state project.
just
So
redid that a few years ago. I think that the state budgets a certain amount of money each year, and if they don't use it, they lose it.
that sounds like
So
federal
they're
money.
going to create jobs, and I don't know what they're doing. So they've got
Yeah.
pilings in the middle. It
Mhm.
looks like they're, instead of taking that curve out that goes around the Highway 29 exit,
Mhm.
they're just going to go straight.
Sure. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know I don't know what it's about. I
Every time my dad and I, or my mom,
just take a breath and hope I'm hitting it at the right time.
yeah.
So, and that's kind of where it's at, is the paving area. I fully support looking at other avenues. I mean, we're 2025, and here we are still talking and about dirt roads. We haven't even addressed the dirt roads that are still in the county at 2025. Um, you know,
A lot of the residents like those dirt roads. They live on the
sure,
dirt road. They want it to stay dirt. Well, one of the reasons is because if they pave it, they're going to have to use eminent domain to go into yards because
right,
it has to be done to code. It has to be a certain width, and they have to have certain um, so, something to do with code
oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
because they talk. So my parents live on a dirt road.
Mhm.
And everybody who lives on that road wants it to stay dirt.
Mhm.
They don't mind the dirt road. It does get kind of bumpy, but they talked about paving it. And if they did pave it, they would have to take 10 feet of my parents' property.
Right.
And we didn't want to do that. And so they didn't pave it. They just kind of dropped the discussion because none of the residents wanted it.
So I'm glad you brought that up about the eminent domain and making it up to code. On a rural route that's 55, that the road width should be 24 feet. There's parts in this county that
It's a lot more narrow.
oh, it's 18 feet.
Yeah.
That's 9 foot of lane
Wow.
from fog line to center line.
So if you stay in your lane, you're okay. So you're talking about safety standards.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying if you pave it, it has to be brought up to code. I'm talking FDOT standards,
Yeah.
and this is I'm just saying a major road.
Well, it's probably just an old road. It's
It
before
is.
that code. It was paved
That's right.
before that code. Now, so for my parents' residential, it's out, very rural. It's
Mhm.
off of Muskogee Road in Cantonment, dirt road. Just a few houses on that road.
Right.
The road's probably half a mile long. Um, I don't know why they can't just pave what's there, but instead of spending a ton more money to make it a certain width and taking people's land,
Right.
just pave what's there. That's all really all the residents want.
Sure. And it's a county owned road, not private.
Yeah, it's county.
Oh.
Mhm. Definitely county.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess I wonder if the residents got together and paid for it to be paved, if they could just do it their way.
Not just county, I guess.
That's something to check into.
Sure, I will. I guess
Or I can check into it.
where I was headed with that is, according to FDOT standards, the state, when you resurface or repave a road, you have to bring it within standard.
Sure.
Hmm.
When you resurface it.
Mhm.
So if they resurface an old road that's narrow, they've got to bring it up to code.
Mhm.
They can't just resurface what's there.
Right. Wonder if that's happening. That's all I was asking.
Right.
So they're using that as, I have to take your property to pave a dirt road, but then are they redoing highways in the right, or roadways in the right way?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think that's one thing after the new year that I'll be checking.
I just might make a phone call and find out. So, well, we're going to take a commercial break.
Sure,
When we
that's
come
fine.
back.
I'm here.
So, the Thornton Review is a civic engagement show with a purpose to spread awareness by interviewing local elected officials, candidates, and professional leaders. This is information you won't get anywhere else. You can watch the Thornton Review on our various outlets. Our website, thethorntonreview.com. On Vimeo, please follow the Thornton Review. On YouTube, please subscribe to the Thornton Review at the Thornton Review 7810. Please like our Facebook page, The Thornton Review Show on TV, WBQP Channel 12, and WBQP on Roku and Fire Stick. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Josh Roberson. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. Thank you for tuning in. We're back to our discussion with Josh Roberson. And I remember during your campaign, you were heavily interested in supporting our first responders, our police, our firefighters, our paramedics, and supporting them, giving them raises and the supplies and everything that they need to do a great job. So are you still doing any type of working or planning with the firefighters? Or
working is very, that's a negative term. I still support, and I still do volunteer efforts to raise awareness, and I still do things with them. Again, my stance on any of this is anyone that chooses a life of service in uniform, whether it be a teacher or any of that kind of deal with, that's my hat's off to you. I know that there's times, especially early on in their careers, that they're picking and choosing what bills to pay because they got to choose. The reality is reality. So when I was running, let's say you bring this up, when I went back during the campaign, and we're talking over a year ago.
Yeah.
One of the hot button ticket items was people could go to McDonald's, and I use McDonald's, and I don't want to be sued for this, but you could go to McDonald's and make more money than a firefighter coming right out of the fire training academy, because they were making $12.99 an hour. And I was told that the yearly salary of firefighters was good. It was a livable annual salary. Well, what I was trying to explain to people is, if you get paid by the hour, how do you have an annual salary? You can't. Those two don't work, because I
guess if you're just looking at 40 hours a week.
That's impossible, because they have built-in overtime. So when you say annual salary, you're an hourly paid employee. You're talking two different languages. So built into that annual salary,
well, it would be an
overtime.
average of what they make.
Sure, but what's really happening is, when you spin that narrative, you're convoluting the actual hourly pay,
because they don't really make what they're saying. Okay.
So they're able to gloss over the fact that $12.99 an hour was what they were being paid. So misspeaking and covering this up. Now look at what happened a year later. The firefighter's wage was addressed. Lo and behold, the guy from
our property tax price was addressed as well, because it went up like $300 because of firefighters.
Property tax, no, it was MSBU. Oh, you brought that up too, right? That's a
Yeah.
that's a non ad valorem, because you have to pay that. So that's elderly or whoever gets exempt from property taxes, you will pay that MSBU. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. With all the firefighters here in this county, all the firefighting stations, there are 2 combined stations which have full time and they have volunteers.
Yeah.
So let's use Century.
So they still have volunteers.
Oh yeah, they have 2
Do
stations
they
that are all
actually-
volunteer.
Okay, so but they actually have volunteers. There are people who actually go in there and volunteer,
Yes, ma'am.
and they spend the time that it takes to learn it and be trained and to do the work.
Yes, ma'am.
If there is a fire.
And for purpose of us discussing this, so Beulah is and this is just from me researching, but Beulah and Century have volunteers attached to them.
Okay.
So Century's firehouse is by the county. So Monday through Friday, like a day job, they have a day shift professional fire crew. After that, it's volunteers that show up for the nights and for weekends. Now, Beulah has volunteers mixed in with them as well, and their professional crew. Now, McDavid and Walnut Hill are completely volunteer firefighters. Completely. They have no professional crew. So now let's not misconstrue this. Volunteers get us what they call like a stipend, and they get paid for office time, logging the calls, logging the hours, showing up on the truck. I mean, but believe me, it's nothing that's like out of this world to make a living on. It's to compensate to be showing up.
Sure.
That has not been raised. Where the firefighter pay, the career firefighters have been raised. The volunteer stipend has not been raised. Stipend. But I bring that up to say the MSBU that you're paying and I'm paying and everyone else that
It went up
has
like
property.
$400.
Mine was $235 is what I'm paying, or $2 something like that now, right? But we're paying that, but so are the people. And I bring in this area back up again. So are the people in McDavid and Walnut Hill and Davisville, but they have volunteers. That rural area has volunteers. They don't have career. So, but they're still paying that same MSBU because it was a blanket across the county.
Right. It's not just for that district. Yeah.
That's right. So they don't have the same response time or career performers, so to speak. Right. Now, I'm not downing the volunteers. Anybody that has a propensity to serve and says, yes, I'll go protect my community. Yeah. I love them too. Now they're working on new stations, the Dead Man Zone out at West Kingsfield, West Kingsfield Road and that area, the Dead Man area, which the firefighters call it, because there's no service out there, and the ISO ratings and all that. And they're building new stations in District 3 and out the back gate or wherever. I support 100% to protect our county.
So some of that money that was raised for that is going to new stations.
That part I can't tell you. I don't know that part, but it's also like going to the pay because their pay increased. But a year later, after the firefighters are paid, they're great. That pays fine. Da 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 da, and yada yada. That everything's good. It's crazy that a year later, one of the strongest independent leaders this county has, which I find fascinating, just happens to be a woman, pushed for what she ran on and held true to her word about concentrating on firefighter, EMS, the same thing I was running on, but she recognized it and pushed for the raise. Now, whether or not it works long term or not, she got them the raise they needed, and now that we can keep those trainees that come out of the academy after 2 years and don't go next door, and we don't lose this longevity. But we've been told and conditioned to believe everything's fine when it wasn't. So that's why when you talk about the service community, that's where I'm at. But what about the areas that still have volunteers? They don't get the same apparatuses.
They're still paying the same amount.
The citizens are. Yeah. But then the volunteer station houses, do they have apparatuses, trucks, and gear that's up to date?
Yeah. Yeah. Is the community actually being protected?
That's right. So
if their
I don't
house
know.
catches on fire, is it going to be put out quickly?
Right. Because they still have to report to the house, get the truck, and that truck may or may not have 100 and some odd thousand miles on it. I don't know. I just use it in scenarios. You know, I do like the fire truck over at McDavid though. I did see it
Really?
last year when I was running. Yeah, it's
Is it
nice.
new or old?
It's new.
A
I
new
like it
one?
though. Mhm.
Up to date, state of the art?
I don't know if it's state of the art, but it's new, and
Yeah,
you know,
it probably is. Well, hopefully. Anyway. So, okay, what about police? Are you
oh yeah.
and
Well,
and
out
sheriff?
sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very huge supporter of the sheriff's department.
Mhm.
Um, I do have to be honest. They won't be the first on my call list where I live. If something goes wrong, I'm calling my neighbors, or I'm calling someone that's very close to
I'm
me.
calling your little militia that y'all have going on, right?
There's not a militia, but
No.
there's neighbors, and we
Yeah.
take care of our own.
Like
It's
an
that,
unspoken, yeah.
yeah, it's that kind of deal. It's
That's
just
the way it should be.
it's how
You
you
should
get
be
custom.
you should be able to rely on your neighbors if you need help with something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's your extended family.
Mhm.
You
Sure.
go if you when you live and you just get used to 45 minutes for an ambulance,
Mhm.
or now love the fact that right now we have firemen that can show up pretty quick because Molino's now a career, but
Mhm.
would you just get used to living that
Yeah.
way? It
Well,
might take a little while for sheriff to show up, so you rely on your extended family.
and back to roads and infrastructure, it might depend on traffic.
Mhm.
Yeah, if the fire truck's going to get there within an hour or
That's
2
right.
hours or however long it takes.
Ambulance,
Yeah.
EMS, you're not.
Yeah, because there's no hospitals out in your way. I mean, you're 20 miles from a hospital, right? Almost.
That's generous.
Hmm.
The closest I think is West Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and yeah, but I say yeah, but you look in the city. I say the city, but the more populated area, and there's a doc in the box ER center popping up everywhere.
Right.
You could take a little one of those ER centers and pop it up north and put
Yeah.
a X-ray machine,
Uh-huh.
lifesaver, some deal, and that could be a safe place for I don't know, an ambulance to be based out of, your life flight, any of that,
That's a
and
great
that
idea.
would cut down
Because if somebody has to
everything.
go to a main hospital, at least the ambulance is already there instead of coming from the main hospital and then back.
Yeah, it's a time cutter, and
Hmm.
there's
Have a little substation.
there's a
With that, yeah.
story. That's right.
That's a great idea.
And and you have healthcare,
Yeah.
that doesn't involve driving all the way to the county seat to
Right.
get it.
Mhm.
And I say that.
Now, West Florida has one on Kingsfield,
Mhm.
Highway 29 in Kingsfield.
Mhm.
You could put an ambulance there and it would still be 10
Closer.
miles closer.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because it's 10 miles from West Florida.
Yeah. So.
It's HCA now.
Mhm. And but it didn't have to be, you know, we're thinking so grand here, and I'm not medical, I'm not any of that, but
Right.
maybe you could get a partnership with a co-op
Mhm.
and do like a pay-as-you-go type thing. I don't know, just something for medical
But
that's worth
Mhm.
having there.
Mhm.
But if we can get one on almost every other corner here down in populated area to lessen the burden,
yeah.
and then once we can't finish this treatment, we'll have to transport you.
Mhm.
I
Right.
think there's a connection there to the
Mhm.
hospital. I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
transport services. But maybe we could get that up north.
Mhm.
And see, here's forward thinking, because we can't build south into the water. I mean, we can, but that's
Uh-huh.
kind of irresponsible. You can't go west, you're in a different state. You can't go east, you're in a different county.
Mhm.
Logically, me and you sitting here talking today, where we're going to build next?
Mhm. Well, the north end of the county
It's
is
the only place you can go. So why not realize that and go ahead and build this infrastructure now? Why not save some of those trees, build a lake,
Mhm.
just out of curiosity? Because when this builds up, we're not going to make it to the beach. It's going to be a day adventure. I'm going to have to pay the tourist tax so I can stay in a hotel to make it worth my while.
Well, like Washington, D.C. My son was living in Bethesda,
Mhm.
and he would take Wisconsin Avenue into D.C.
Sure.
or whatever route his GPS was telling him that day, because the GPS is going to take the least traffic
Mhm.
route. It didn't matter. It didn't matter which route he took. It took an hour to drive the 10 miles
Mhm.
from his apartment in Bethesda to his office on Capitol Hill
That's right.
in the Rayburn building. So he moved to Virginia. He's still the same distance. He may be a mile further from work, but he takes the interstate, and it takes him 15 minutes to drive that 10 miles to get there. And it's traffic. It's because of the traffic.
So what's crazy is I live 33 miles or so from where I worked when I first moved here. 45 minutes is what it took me. Yeah. When I lived at my last job, I lived 13 miles, and I'm from my front door to the parking spot that I used, and it took me 45 minutes. So that's a traffic. I'm just, where I was saying, but yeah, so I get it.
Yeah, I don't want Pensacola to become like Atlanta or Washington, D.C., where it's just gridlock. Everywhere you go, it takes an hour to drive 10 miles. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be that way. And we need to conserve some of our ecosystem and our natural habitat for the environment and for the ecosystems that live there, like all the animals. There's a lot of wildlife.
How much do you think that we spend on promoting that Pensacola has a beach?
A lot.
10 million, 20 million? I don't really know, but
I don't know either, but I know that's the main attraction to Pensacola.
Yeah. Let's say it's 10 million. Are you telling me that, can we have a real conversation? Are you telling me that somebody in Wisconsin doesn't know that Pensacola Beach has a beach?
Right.
It's in the name. So the crazy thing is they could get on a plane, they can fly here and get a 2-day night hotel, and then they enjoy more of the beach than Escambia County resident that lives in Molino, because the plane gets here, they don't have to deal with the traffic. For me to go down there, I'm being wholeheartedly serious with you, before too long, and how 29 is being industrialized and everything else. If we don't plan for the future, Escambia County residents, you're going to have to go to the beach, pay the tax, because you're going to have to stay in a hotel just to enjoy it. Now to what you were saying about your green space. The state's got environmental protection, and we can protect some of this forest land. Campo de Pines is up there. Now you have to pay to run it and do this kind of stuff, but why can't we do that and turn it into a county park? Maybe have a lake, maybe do some kind of pond or something like that, and do water sports, water adventures, county operated. Maybe you can even charge to do like day swimming or something like that, and have lifeguards on duty, and you could do that. And yes, North End accessible, it's city accessible, but it's just not beach. And you know what? You could bring in small revenue. You could do something, but it's also using the land, and it's protected, and it's not going to be developed.
Well, so there used to be density zoning, like where my parents live. It's zoned. The density is what do you call it? It's there's a term for density where you're high density or low density.
Residential. Maybe, you're talking about.
I think I'm talking about high and low.
Yeah.
So
high density residential, low density residential.
And I never really know what the meaning is. So high density means that you can put multiple houses, and low density means like one house per acre. So you can control the population explosion through density. Now down Nowak Road.
Nowak Farms.
It's Nowak Road. It runs from 97 to Muskogee. Kind of loops around.
Where that neighborhood is off to the right.
Yes. That neighborhood did not used to be there.
That's right.
That neighborhood is brand new, and it caught me by surprise. My aunt and uncle come down every year from Wisconsin, and they spend about a week, and and they drive around, and they know Pensacola as well as we do, and they've never even lived here, because that week that they're here, they drive around, they explore, and they see new things. Well, this last time they were here, they were like, have you seen that neighborhood off Nowak Road? And we were like, no. Well, we drove over there, and there's like 500 houses. Very close together. The yards are small, and it's just row and road and road and row and row and row of all these brand new houses. And it used to be zoned low density because my parents were going to buy some land out there about 30 years ago, and you could only have one house per acre.
Okay.
Now they probably have 20 houses per acre. So the county changed the zoning density. It used to be a forest. Now it's just clear cut and paved with houses and roads and driveways. And it just kind of breaks my heart.
Have you been down to Vine Farms?
No, I've never, but I know that It used to be all fours. I learned how to drive on Highway 97.
Okay.
So I'm very familiar with that entire area. And I know that Divine Farms Road used to be probably one house I've never been down that road, but it probably used to be one house at the end of the road on a farm. And now it's a huge subdivision. Huge. And it's probably still growing. All of the subdivisions were not there when I was growing up.
Right.
I mean, we would drive down 97 and never pass another car a lot of times. And, it wasn't unusual to pass a car. But now it's just back-to-back traffic because of all the population explosion.
So we know, and I had brought some numbers, and I think you'd be kind of shocked if I shared them. If you'd like to hear them,
Sure.
but
Yeah. I like numbers.
Yeah, you like numbers?
I like numbers.
The hard thing is to remember them,
Right.
but I
am not a statistics person, but I do like numbers.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't mean anything to me, but a lot of times they mean everything.
And these aren't
And
my
they explain
numbers.
so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
These aren't my numbers. So I want to say that usafacts.org. Go ahead.
This has to be your closing statement. The number, if we do the numbers, because I did not realize that we're almost out of time.
Okay. So yeah, is that all right?
Sure.
So yeah,
Love it.
let's roll with it. So usafacts.org. In 2022, Escambia County's population was 324,878.
Uh-huh.
Now, the closest thing I could find in 2025 was worldpopulationreview.com, and it's estimated at 334,516. So that's a difference of about 10,000 people in 3 years.
Uh-huh.
The budget was 528,616,000 in 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
Budget for 2026, 824,440,000.
Wow.
So that's and just so we're all aware, that's a difference of $295,823
For what?
for 10,000 people.
For what though?
You tell me, because we're talking about roads and we're talking about drainage, and you brought all this up, right? So the total for that I found in drainage projects, 4 projects for 2026, $2 million was allotted in the budget. Transportation, bridge rehab, traffic calming. That's what it was, calming.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking 4 projects, $3.6 million. Dirt road paving, 4 projects, $1.4 million. Resurfacing, 2 projects, $4.6 million. So we're looking at a total of $11.6 million in infrastructure. That's what I found. And that's on myescambia.com if you want to go check that out. So
is that $11 million in paving? Basically
11.6 in paving.
Clear cutting and paving.
No, in drainage
Okay,
improvement
yeah.
projects and transportation.
Well, the drainage improvement, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much drainage you put in. If you clear cut and pave, you can put all the drainage in the world, you're still going to flood.
Just perspective.
It depends. If we have pipes that go under the ground to the bay. Okay. If the water level in the bay rises higher than those pipes, it's going to backflow.
That's right.
And it's going to come back. And if you don't have ground, if you have pavement, guess what? The water's just going to rise. There's no ground saturation.
Because there's nowhere for it to go.
And that's common sense. That's something you can visually see. It's not something that you have to go to school to learn how to talk your way around. It's going to happen. We are out of time. I could talk to you all day, and
I'd love to, but you cut me off, so we're good. We're good.
I didn't cut you off. I was cut off. Okay. The Thornton Review is on the air to provide public service awareness and intellectual infrastructure to our community. This show was made possible by Larry Downs Jr. Plumbing, Ida Gates Godly Teas LLC, and Alpha Fence Company, and our guest Josh Roberson for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. It was a great conversation. And we want to thank you for watching this episode of the Thornton Review. Bye-bye.